there we go. We finally get to do an EFL show where the person sitting across from me has actually done as much work as I did into the show, as opposed to I write the entire show and he just comes up with clever witticisms.
I love the championship. I love it much better when I'm not in it.
Yeah. Well, and then we, of course, the championship, League One, League Two were a little more uneventful, but the National League has some crazy shit going on too. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a completely biased brief recap of the rest of English football as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, our good friend, Mr. Geckel. How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. It was a great last day of the EFL.
It really
and we still got some more.
It really was. Well, now we got the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Exactly. When everybody, I love doing this to Americans when it's the whole, what do you mean there's no playoffs? Everybody plays everybody twice. I go, well, no, in the lower leagues, there are playoffs. They're like the lower leagues. I'm like, think of it as the minor leagues, but teams get promoted and go down. Huh? What about draft picks? There are no draft picks.
The other thing is championship and Champions League. Megan still hasn't gotten her head around that one.
I hate that. That drives me crazy.
That is hysterical that it's the Premier League, the Championship, and then there's the Champions League. I love watching people's heads explode on that one because every time I explain that to people, because I talk about the leagues, right? The four leagues. And then I talk about what European tournaments are. And the minute I say Champions League, they're like, what? But no. I thought that was the second division. I'm like, no. It's the... all the champions.
Come on, England. Y'all can come up with some more terms.
Megan, she'll shock me with some knowledge sometimes. She'll be like, oh, yeah, West Ham, they did this and this. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, they invented the language. There's more terms.
Well, they also have some really weird shit they say. Of course, on the ones and twos already chiming in. Producer Mel, how you doing over there, Producer Mel?
I said my piece.
Well, you were about to hit the mute button, and she was like, oh, shit, I got to talk more.
I was like, I'm done. I have my bit. All right, bye.
I'll be good. I had my moment. That's still one of my all-time favorite Simpsons lines is, Grandpa, right? They're all like, Grandpa does something kind of bold, and Homer yells at him. He goes, I'll be good. I had my moment. We are recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and of course streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there's many ways you can. Geck, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Well, if you're emailing dufootballshow@gmail.com, DU Football Show on all the socials, and then Drunkard United FC, the closed group. Get in there with all the bants.
And we even talk about the championship and the lower leagues as well in there, too. All the fun stories we've been putting up in that group as well.
And post fun Iron Brew ads.
Exactly. Very fun Iron Brew ads. We are drinking the exact same shit we drank in the last show.
Championship Corner!
I've fallen, and I can't get up. Oh, no.
Producer Mel, that might be the last time we use that sounder.
Championship Corner!
I've fallen, and I can't get up. Oh, no.
I think we could still use it for West Ham or Spurs on the last day of the season.
Yeah, but... Well, I mean, it's just brilliant from Whiskey Dicks, who does, obviously, the theme song. I just love telling them, I'd be like, I want, like, sweet-ass rock and roll voice, or I want, like, when I told him about the theme song, I was like, there has to be guttural death metal in there, and that's, you don't always hear it, but at the very end, it's the hit the fucking mute button, right?
Yeah.
I told him I needed that, and then I told him I needed sweet hair metal falsetto. He was like,
Nailed it.
I got you.
Nailed it. Yeah.
I got you. Like, hell yeah. Like, and I'm not even a metal guy. Like, I'm very much, you and I are both cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
We're very much punk guys, not metal guys, but he gave me all that sweet ass metal that needed to be in that theme song.
The only difference is you were more in the college rock era, and
Yeah.
I'm more like the early 2000s emo.
Yeah.
But we still,
we're
you know,
still,
the
we're
Clash.
Still, we're still
Yeah.
punk boys.
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean, come on, it's the only band that matters.
Fuck yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the championship. The Tractor Boys score in the 3rd minute and cruise to a 3-0 win and gain automatic promotion. So congratulations, Ipswich, for getting right back up to the league. I got to say, you know, they lost a lot of players and they had a very bad start.
Yeah.
And then they just figured it the fuck out. And frankly, I'm okay with them being back up. I'm excited to see them play again next year.
They stuck with their manager, Kieran McKenna, who was very, very good.
And
They,
he stuck with them,
yeah,
too.
yeah. So they had back-to-back promotions. I think they were probably a year too early on the Prem. This time around, they still have a pretty solid core. And they, after the first month or two of the season, they locked in.
You think about it, too. With McKenna, he had a chance to go to Chelsea. He turned it down. They ended up going with Maresca. You saw how that worked out. And it's not Maresca's fault that he's not at Chelsea anymore. It's Chelsea's fault, right?
Yeah.
Which would have likely been the same case with McKenna. It wouldn't have been his fault. It would have been fucking Chelsea's fault that they got rid of him.
Yeah, for sure.
And like you said, they're where they need to be. This is when we talk about clubs coming up. This is a sizable club.
Yeah.
Right? They have a
Yeah.
decent stadium. They're a one club city. Like, this is a team that if they do it right,
And really, it's a 2-club region.
right, it's them
Yeah.
and Norwich,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing out there. There
No.
ain't even a lower league league clubs out there. There are those 2 cities and farm, hence the old farm derby.
But only a 45-minute flight from Amsterdam to Norwich.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Nice, very
Yeah.
good. That's need to know information
Yeah.
right there. And of course, Coventry. Graham and I talked about this the other week. I know you have your own disdain for Fat Frank, but for Coventry as a club, pretty fucking awesome that they're getting back up, isn't it?
They're a massive club, and they're in the Midlands, so they're not one of those southern cunts. So good for them. Good, shout out to the Specials.
Yeah.
Always a big fan of them. They've got good players. Haji Wright, angling for a spot on the U.S. national team. Mm-hmm. Scored a bunch of goals this year. They have a good squad. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Them and
Agreed.
Ipswich both could stay up.
Yeah. I don't disagree that they could. I think that there are. If West Ham survives, West Ham is still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think they're fucked no matter what.
If
from what I
Forest
hear.
does not
Yeah.
go to Europe, they are going to have to sell a lot of fucking people. Who are Brentford going to be able to keep up what they kept up with this last season? Is Fulham aging out? Is Silva staying? Is Palace without Glasner? And this, like, what
Probably
are they going to
Mateta,
be?
yeah.
What are they going to be? There are a lot of fucking questions about a lot of fucking clubs.
Can
in the
Leeds and
Premier League.
Sunderland keep it up?
Right. There is opportunity. We had that run of like 2 or 3 seasons in a row where all 3 that went up went back down. I don't think we're going to be seeing that for a while.
I hope not. And generally in the history of the sport, the money has changed recently, but it's been an anomaly that 3 clubs have gone down in the same season. And then for it to happen twice in a row I don't think it's like ever happened.
Right. So let's go ahead and get to the only spot that really mattered, because outside of that, Ipswich was going up. It was going to be Southampton because them and Ipswich drew in the midweek.
Yeah.
And it was Millwall and Boro. Those 3 teams are in the playoff spot. So we were to the final playoff spot, which was Wrexham, who was holding the spot going into the final day, with Hull 1 point behind and Derby County 2 points behind. So
Yeah.
all to play for. And right off the bat, Derby County actually take an early lead. And with Wrexham also going down to Borough, put Derby County in the spot.
Yeah.
They were in. That's
Yeah.
where they were. Now, that was also then helped by Hull going down to Norwich. But immediately after Hull went down, penalty, Ollie McBurney, goal, 1-1. So Hull is now back to 7th. Derby County is in 6th, and Wrexham's in 8th, right? Now, this would start to switch around a lot early, but by about 70 minutes, it was kind of figured out for the most part.
Yeah, so I think at the beginning of the day, Millwall still had a chance of getting automatic promotion.
But the minute
Ipswich scored 2 in the first
just
9 minutes
cruised.
and just locked it up early. So I woke up for the second half. It was 2-2 Wrexham Boro, 1-1 Hull Norwich, and 1-0 Derby, and they were in 6th place.
Yep. And then Derby did what Derby County's going to do. They love to fuck shit off.
Yeah, horrendous giveaway at the back. Bamford with an assist to somebody else who looked like it was his number. But yeah, and then Sheffield United got the equalizer, which put Derby out of the playoff spot. And then about 10 minutes later, they fucked up again, and Sheffield United went up 2-1, and that was basically the end of Derby's chance.
Yeah, they were pretty much done because they had to win, and the other two had to drop points. So the minute it got to draw, Derby County was kind of out of it. And then the minute they were down, they were definitely out of it.
And I still haven't gotten over that playoff loss from 2019, so fuck them.
Then, and that's the one that they ultimately lost to Villa, wasn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
Yep. I remember that. Now, going then to, at this point, Borough's at 2-2. I mean, Borough's at 2-2 with Wrexham. And Hull City is up 2-1 off another Ollie McBurney goal.
Yeah, held the
Blades,
line.
Yep,
Yeah,
old Blades striker.
and Swansea.
Yep,
Yeah.
gets them the goal. They're up 2-1, and then essentially all Hull had to do was see it out. And if y'all watch Championship fucking football at all, that ain't hard to do. These clubs live and die off of 11 behind the ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, oh, you mean see out a 1-goal game? We can do that. We'll make it extra boring. Not just kind of boring, really fucking boring.
Norwich had a couple of half chances, and they've been, since they had a horrendous managerial hire to start the season, they've been on a fucking tear. Mm-hmm. They looked like they might go down.
Oh, yeah. Early on, Norwich had a bad, awful start. I remember talking about them a ton because obviously we pay a ton of attention to Pompey, and Norwich was right around it with them.
Norwich, I mean, they weren't that far off the playoff. So next year, watch out for Norwich.
And, well, here's the other funny thing, too. With Hull City, they finally got a win. They had gone pretty much the last 2 months of the season without a win. Because they at one point were in 3rd.
Yeah.
And they were right in the fucking thick of it, and they almost completely fell out. So good on them, because I always like to see the teams that have been in the playoffs for the bulk of the year actually make the playoffs. I always hate seeing a team cruise in. So for me, and we're about to get into it, I'm going to have you talk about the schedule. Like, of the 4 teams that are in, the one I do not want to see, sorry, Kenny, is the fucking Saints, because the Saints kind of crashed the party where there were other teams that had been in and around it for a while.
So you mentioned Villa earlier. Southampton reminded me a lot of the Villa team that went up. They were kind of like hanging around in mid-table, and then just could not be beat at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And Leeds fucked up against Derby, because the Leeds Villa Championship playoff final would have been dropped. Like, that would have been amazing.
Oh my God, yeah, that would have been
Derby
epic.
just absolutely laid an egg against Villa. But Southampton feels like that team.
That was, by the way, the day Mel decided to start following Villa. She was watching that match with me.
Good for her.
That brought her to Villa.
And then what was the other thing? Hull. I was looking at the Opta stats. Mm-hmm. Hull's expected goal differential would have put them in the relegation zone.
Oh, no shit. Yeah.
So that's like the most championship shit ever.
Yeah. Of course.
But now, anything can happen.
Well, Hull was a team early in at the start of the year. They were predicting to be a go-down team. It was going to be Wednesday, Oxford, and Hull was who they all expected.
Barely survived last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it was the old Reading manager who had come up and kept them barely up. He left Reading and went to them in the middle of the season and kept them up.
Yeah.
So let's go over what we have for the playoffs, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the bottom of the table at the end here.
Okay. So we have Hull versus Millwall in the one playoff, and we have Middlesbrough versus Southampton in the other one. And so those matches, we have Hull and Millwall are playing Friday at 3, and then Monday the 11th at 3.
Okay.
And Borough Southampton, we've got Saturday at 7:30, and Tuesday the 12th at 3. And then the
Okay.
final is Memorial Day weekend on Saturday at 10 a.m.
Very good. Very, very good. Now, we all want to see Millwall only if West Ham survive. Otherwise, we do not want to see Millwall in the.
We want to see them play each other next year.
Yeah,
we don't care
that's
what
it.
division.
I think we'd all rather see it in the Prem.
That
'cause
would
it
be
just
much funnier. Yeah.
Especially because, like, think about the pomp and circumstance that went into the Tyne-Wear from Peacock, which was deserved. I'm so glad it was that they did that. Imagine what NBC and Peacock are going to do for that London derby with Millwall and fucking West Ham.
I hope they're behind a very strong barricade.
Yeah, no shit.
We need to protect Rebecca Lowe.
Yeah, Millwall will not care. They'll be like, we don't really give a shit if the whole world's watching. There will be a riot. We brought knives. We're fucking people up.
And as a Leeds fan, Millwall, there's no way they stay up next year if they make to the Prem.
Oh God, no.
No.
God, no. And I think even Millwall knows that. I think Millwall looks and goes, are we going to be Derby County?
Yeah,
There's no chance. For me, I wouldn't mind seeing Boro back up. I really wouldn't mind seeing Boro back up. Hall would be fun, but I think Hall would go right the fuck back down. For me, it's just not the Saints.
Yeah,
Not
and
the
they're
Saints.
the clear favorites, unfortunately.
Yeah, because they're coming in hot. They are coming in real hot.
Yeah, they haven't. I don't know their form exactly, but I mean, they beat Arsenal in the FA Cup. They gave City all they could handle. They've flown up the table.
Yeah.
They're the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, they are, and it's honestly, it's probably going to likely be them because I don't know if Hull or Millwall are ready for that game in Wembley.
Yeah,
Southampton will be.
yeah.
Southampton absolutely will be ready for that game. Now, at the bottom, Wednesday finished the season with a win, which means they ended on exactly 0 points. So I was glad to see them not finish on negative.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because it's not like we're all big fucking Wednesday supporters here. We're not a particularly
Some of us don't really particularly like them.
Yeah, just even care about either of the Sheffield clubs as a whole. But fans didn't deserve what happened to them.
And it's good to see that they won't start on negative 15 next year.
It's exactly what I was about to say there. The takeover has been completed, and they don't start on a negative 15. Now, I think they've got a long way to go. I think they've got a lot of rebuilding to do before they make it back up to the championship. They are ultimately a championship side. That's where they should be. That's what they are.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was despicable what happened to them as a club. And love them or hate them, you can still have an understanding that no supporters deserve that. They don't deserve to have that happen to their club.
Yeah, you don't want to see it happen to Reading. You don't want to see it happen to Sheffield Wednesday. You don't really want to. Man U, I'd be like, okay with. That'd be fine. Supporters could be taken down a peg.
That's the one we wouldn't care about. But you think of, Bolton or why am I forgetting their name?
Bury,
who ultimately was folded, and that was people in the city
Combi,
were just handing money and shrimps out from Macombi. I didn't put it into the notes, but they ultimately faced relegation and are going down to the National League North, which is a shame because it seemed like they had done just enough to fight their way out.
Yeah,
but ultimately got relegated, which is really a shame for them too. So, and you don't like to see that for these clubs. Like,
no,
you can go down because you suck. That's fine. But you shouldn't go down because your ownership doesn't fucking care and fucks you over.
Yeah.
We talk about this and they don't understand it on an American level. You are the steward of the club. The last person to touch
an English level.
Yeah. The last person
they get it on an American level. It's all about the money.
It's all about the money and it's all about the owner, right?
Yeah.
The last person to touch a trophy on an English club or a European club is the fucking owner. The last person to touch a trophy.
That's how it should be.
The first person to touch a trophy in any American sport is the fucking owner.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it should be.
No.
you are the caretaker. You may own it, but
Yeah.
it is a privilege to own it.
Yeah.
It is not a right to fucking own it. And I hate seeing that for clubs. So at least Wednesday starts with even points next season.
And they can fuck off next year.
Yeah.
But at least they can fuck off at an even level.
Right, precisely. Now, not a ton of drama in League One. Stevenage held on to their final playoff spot with a 1-0 win over Wigan. So they will be joined by Stockport, Bradford City, and Bolton in the playoffs.
Stevenage did leave it late.
Yeah, they did, but they figured out a way to survive. And that's who all will be in there for them. Why don't you go over real quick what the playoff schedule is there, and then we'll talk about the bottom of the table.
So in League One, we have Stevenage versus Stockport County on Saturday at 10 a.m. And then on Wednesday, the home fixtures reverse at 3 p.m. And then we've got former Premier League clubs Bolton and Bradford City playing Saturday at 3. And then Thursday, May 14th at 3 at Bradford.
No.
And then the final is Sunday, May 24th at 10 a.m.
Graham and I have been saying it the whole season. We're softies for Bolton. We'd like to see Bolton back in the championship, especially considering, as we just talked about, they were one of those teams that were at the very bottom of League Two at one point.
But shouldn't we be punishing them for bringing us Sam Allardyce?
Yeah, it's true. There should be a little bit of hate for that. Yeah. And they are the Big Sam Express.
So Stevenage has never been in the championship. So there's
that'd be fun.
something.
Okay,
There's
there
something
we
to
go.
root for. Bradford City's a Yorkshire club. I know I'm supposed to. I don't mind them as much because they haven't really played Leeds since I've supported them.
But
So
if
they haven't brought me pain.
But if they're a Yorkshire club,
Yeah.
I mean, if suddenly we're playing fucking Tranmere in the fucking Premier League, I'd be like, fuck Tranmere.
Yeah.
Like,
Anthony Taylor can suck a dick.
yeah, exactly.
Or no,
Mike
who was
Dean.
it? Mike Dean. Yeah.
But the Stevenage, that would be nice. For me, I'm ultimately pulling for Bolton just because they haven't been up in a while. There's Stockport is also one of the teams that had the meteoric rise with Wrexham. Just
Yeah, they
Wrexham
did.
ended up ultimately going
Overtaking
ahead.
them. Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool to see Stockport get up to the championship just because they've had that kind of rise as well.
Yeah. All four of these clubs, you could find some common joy.
There's enough of a reason to be like, yeah, I'd be okay with that, right?
But yeah, Bolton belong in the championship.
Yeah, that's exactly where they belong. That's for sure. Looking at the bottom of the league, the O's survived relegation with a 2-2 draw at home to Burton. But that's only because Exeter City lost. Because if Exeter City had won, the O's would have gone down on goal differential. And Leyton Orient's gaffer, Richie Wellens, went off on his post-game presser. Like, apparently some of the players didn't go over and applaud the fans, and he was like, and then we're out celebrating with their like friends later, and he was like, the fuck you doing? You've been a disappointment all year. Like, why the hell aren't you? The supporters deserve it. You've been so bad. You deserve to fucking, you better go thank them. And then you don't.
Yeah, good for him. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think we put that up in the closed group, but it just, I mean, he went off. It was like, and every comment when I saw the video was just like, well, that's refreshing. And then like some people would be like, well, he just lost the locker room. Most people responded, is that a locker room you want to keep?
Yeah, seriously.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
they almost got relegated. Yeah.
maybe and that was a team that was in the playoffs last season.
So this is, the thing about the EFL is they had a lot of their biggest contributors were loan players,
Right.
and they didn't have them this year. And that's how quickly it can turn if you don't get promoted.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Well, I mean, that was same thing happened to the Blades in the championship because they essentially sold the farm to just try to get into promotion and then ultimately lost in the playoffs. Well, honestly, lost the final game at Wembley, and that just, it fucking did them in.
Yeah, and then they had to sign all ex-Leeds players. Mm-hmm. And they had to make Leeds go, well, I don't really hate Patrick Bamford or Calvin Stewart or Calvin Phillips.
All right. So finally, Bromley, MK Dons, and Cambridge United, which we're all very excited for, earned automatic promotion from League 2 to League 1. We have Salford, Notts, Chesterfield, and the darlings of this year's season, Grimsby Town, have made the playoffs.
Mariners, baby. Let's
Yep.
fucking go.
Yep. So, tell us about the playoff schedule for them.
So this is funny. So remember how Grimsby beat Man U in the League Cup? Mm-hmm. They're going to be playing Salford. Do you know who owns Salford?
All the ex-Man U players.
Baby. So we've got Grimsby versus Baby Man U. So the first leg is Sunday at 10 a.m. And then the second leg at Salford is Friday, May 15th at 2:15 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Chesterfield versus Notts County Sunday at 1 p.m. And then the second leg is also on Friday at Notts County, but this one's at 3.
Notts County is the team that went up with Wrexham out of the National League, and Chesterfield won the National League the very next year. So
Yeah.
it's a couple of teams that are recently back in the professional ranks fighting to go back up.
So Notts County beat Chesterfield to get promoted to League 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it was the Ben.
The very next year,
the Ben Foster
Chesterfield
save.
won it.
Yeah.
Yep, went back up. So real quick, Aki, because we always keep an eye on them, finished the season on a loss, but they did finish comfortably in 16th, which is good.
Solidly mid-table.
Yep. Well, and they're one of the original 12, but they're also a tiny club. And they're never going to have that spending power that a lot of teams you're starting to see from the National League. They just need to finish comfortably 10th in League 2 and just stick around. And they don't have to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
They just need to stay in the fucking league. That's really the key.
Get a win in the third round of the FA Cup every 5-6 years.
You are perfectly fine. And then finally, Newport County did hold on and survive. So the potato patch stays in professional football.
Christian Fuchs's Newport County.
Exactly. Very good. I like that. And they stayed up, and it looks like Harrogate and Boro find themselves falling out to go to the National League.
Yeah, no posh Yorkshire derby next year with Harrogate and York City.
I love it. Now, that is going to wrap it up, but I know you have some fantastic parting words as we piggyback off of the game that was York City and Rochdale. Tell us about how Rochdale's doing. So
I kept an eye on our friends from the FA Cup this year, and I also kept an eye on Rochdale because they're on, an insane number of points. Mm-hmm. So they took care of the cunts, Scunthorpe. So I was
one of 3 curse word teams.
I was more focused on these cunts than Liverpool Man U at the time. So it looked like they were free and clear. They're up 2-0, and then Scunthorpe go Route 1, goalkeeper assist. It's 2-1 in the 81st minute. Rochdale sees it out. So they will go to the National League playoff final.
Very good.
Where it's going to be between a rock and a hard place because the Wood is going to the National League final.
This is a hard one because you want Rochdale to win just because they had 106 fucking points, for fuck's sake.
Well, like I said,
but they're playing the Wood.
I have a long memory. Rochdale is one of the teams that beat Leeds in the third round of the FA Cup. So let's up the Wood, baby.
Up the Wood. I mean, who does not want to see the mighty Wood in the fucking professional ranks?
They've never been to the EFL, so that would be awesome.
That
Rochdale's
would be
been
so
there.
awesome. Very good.
There do need to be 2 automatic promotions for the National League. It's ridiculous. Rochdale has to do this.
All right. So I also see we've got the North and the South to see who's getting promoted to the National League.
Yeah. So our friends Macclesfield in the North and Weston Supermare in the South were in the playoff. Unfortunately, they both lost. So
oh no.
So I guess I'll go over the 3 National League finals. So the National League, we've got Sunday, 10 a.m. We've got, like I said, Boro and Wood versus Rochdale at Wembley.
And that's this Sunday, right?
Yes, this Sunday.
Very good. Cool.
The National League North, we have South Shields versus Kidderminster Harriers.
We've seen the Kidderminster Harriers in the third round before.
Yes, we have. And then South Shields north of Sunderland. So not really south.
I heard.
And then the National League South, we have Hornchurch, who dispatched the Seagulls. They'll take on Torquay United Saturday at 10 a.m.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. And probably the end of the EFL show. Maybe I do one with Graham next week, or maybe we just add that to the end of the main show. But like to thank all of you for coming along on the ride. And if for some reason you've never checked out our main show, you should probably go check out DU Football Show, where we talk about the Prem. That's the one we've been doing for 8 fucking years.
I mean, I guess that's the main league, you know.
Yeah, kind of. But next up is Injury Time, where we're going to preview the weekend's action. We're going to talk about the beers we were drinking, check in on our adopted club, and see how we did in fantasy. Should you want to support the show, Gak, how do you go about doing it?
That's DU Football Show / patreon.com/DU Football Show.
Very good. You were going to get through it.
Yeah. I forgot the Patreon part. That's the most important part.
Yeah, I mean,
For just $5 a month.
For nothing. I mean, you are a fucking Patreon. You would think you would know how to go about doing it.
See, my brain is all fogged because of all this EFL talk. It's all down on my penis.
Yeah.
For the price of a gallon of gas.
Till next week, everybody.
Producer Mel from the top rope.